about to do an embodiment exercise to bring more money into your life and make associations that it feels really good and it's exciting and fun and magical and whimsical. This is a journey that we are about to take your inner children on, okay, and create some associations in your psyche and your subconscious and repair things from the past in case we have old money wounds. This is something that I did with one of my clients because oftentimes when we're trying to work on our relationship with our finances, there's different planes of consciousness that you do that through journaling, affirmations, meditations, but some of the things need to be specifically done for your inner children, and they are coming from a place of wonderment and imagination. You've got to make it a whimsical experience for it to really set in with them. And so I'm asking your inner children to come forward to listen to this story today. Okay, I'm going to be reading from my notes here so I can stay on track. This client is also working on her finances. And so I went into her energy field to see what was going on in there. And I saw a bunch of kids playing on a playground. Her inner children at all different ages. And I said, hey, can I come in and play with y'all? And her 5-year-old self came forward and grabbed my hand. And I said, yay! I'm excited because what a beautiful invitation to be, requested upon by somebody's inner child. That means they really appreciate you. So her and I were sliding down the playground slide, like one after the other, and I was making these turkey noises while I was sliding down. So blah, blah, blah. And she just thought it was so funny. She was like laughing hysterically. And I said, oh, you think that's funny? Watch this. And then I held this massive turkey in my hands. I said, this is Pete. And she's like, what is he doing here? And then I started sliding down the slide with the turkey. And turkeys in shamanism as spirit animals represent abundance, connection with the earth, and importance of gratitude. An activity that you can do in your day-to-day interactions in the 3D is anytime that you pick up something in your hands that you exchanged for money, whether that's you purchased it or somebody purchased it for you as a gift, you're gonna say, oh my gosh, thank you, money. I love this. If it's an iced coffee, if it's a plate that you're eating food on, if it is a makeup product, literally anything, because that's sending gratitude vibrations out into the universe, and then you get more of that, and you're pointing your energy and attention on it. After you say, oh my gosh, thank you so much, money, an affirmation that we can say alongside of that is, I am in the dimension of wealth. I am in the dimension of wealth. This is when I looked at her 5-year-old and I said, what are you grateful for? And she said, excuse me, she said, feeling safe. I said, oh, I love that. Feeling safe feels amazing. And so what she meant by that was my client had worked on this in her lifetime pretty significantly to feel grounded and centered within, and her inner children were celebrating her. Like, thank you so much for helping us feel more grounded in reality. This is when I asked her, do you think that we could turn the wood chips, that are on a playground, the big chunk pieces? I said, do you think that we could turn these into money? And she looked around. She thought that was like a silly idea at first. She's like, well, what if we get the money dirty? It's like, it doesn't matter. And then there's so much of it. Like, it doesn't matter. There's plenty to go around. It's okay, even if you have your feet. And it doesn't have to be dirty either. Like, this is your imagination. You get to decide what you want it to be. Okay, it can act like a trampoline if you want you bouncing off of money. So how about we invite other inner children to come in here and play as well that are outside of your energy field, because my client is also a spiritual mentor. And so we were inviting her clients' inner children, the ones that she has currently or the ones that are in the future, because that's another way that money can come into our lives. And so this is kind of a recalibration with her spiritual gifts as well, to be a little bit more focused on inner children connections. I said, why don't we invite the other inner children in so they feel safe as well, and they see that money is everywhere for them too, because now it is a co-collaborative experience. It is, we are both amplifying our finances, wealth, prosperity, and abundance together by being in my energetic space. Then I picked up a ton of the money and threw it in the air. I said, make it rain. Like you would be in a snow globe and all the snow coming down, and the kids were like running around screaming. They thought it was really funny. And I picked up like a handful of cash, and I said, what would you like to trade this for? It's like a game. What do you want? And she said, anything? And I said, anything, girl. And she said, I want pink sparkly clothes, like head to toe bedazzlement. Pink shirt, pink pants, pink shoes. I said, oh, I love that. Do you want to do a runway fashion show? And everybody can dress up. All of my clients and their children, but then all of her clients and her children, and everybody got really excited. And I said, oh, it's like Dress to Impress. If you have seen that game before, it's where you go in and you can pick your makeup and your clothes, and then you go walk a runway, and everybody like sees what you're wearing and comments on it. How there's like racks of clothes or like rows of clothes. There's like so many of them with all of these just fashionista wear. And the kids are really excited. And I said, do you think that this was a fun trade? The cash for the runway experience? And she said, yes. And her face like lit up. And I said, if you want anything else, remember, you can just go to the playground. The playground got floors and floors and floors of money. You could throw it up in the air. You could trade it for anything that you want. That was a big shift, because the inner children are now associating it with fun and adventure, new experiences. They can have whatever they want. They just treat it like a game. It's abundantly everywhere. And that is on a level that an inner child is going to understand and is going to be able to integrate into their consciousness easier than all of the mental gymnastics that we're going on as an adult. And it's fun for an adult to go on as well. Like, I love that. But these are the activities that I suggest if you do have things that are rolling over from childhood, and that's going to do more for you than coming at it like an adult. So I would love to hear if this helps shift your perspective, if you're going to give it a try. Remember to check out my coaching, activations, and meditations. I have one for inner children. It's a free meditation. You can get those in my bio or in the comments. And I'm wishing you an absolutely magical day.